Hey guys, hey everyone, I'm Martin Wenzel, just doing something different here on the stream. Doing a quick afternoon, probably maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, we'll see how it goes. Leading up into dinner time. I'm just working on a commission I've got going on here. Pretty low quality photo. You can see it's actually a scan from an old photograph actually. So it's not coming from the old glass plates. And I'll let you know what I'm talking about on that. So for example, this is a scan. Let's put all of this into folder. So here's a scan. You can find these on like Library of Congress, Wikipedia will have some. Usually they're grabbing them from Library of Congress. I probably got this off Wikipedia because it's been cleaned up a little bit. But what this is, you can tell it's a scan. It's a scan from the original glass plates, the negatives, from people like Matthew Brady, various different photographers during the Civil War, or during that era. And what's been going on over the years, especially whenever they can find a glass plate, is they'll scan it in at a super high quality. You can see I can zoom in pretty far, and we're still at a pretty high quality. This is a huge file. You can even see it right down here. It's 4,520 pixels by 6,434 pixels. I think it's 1,250 pixels per inch. I think that's what it is. So it's an incredibly high quality, high resolution, and so it makes the end product look really good. Now this is one of my earlier colorings, so my kind of style has changed as we've gone along, but still looks pretty good. Whereas this one, this is now I've blown this up is what I've done. It's 3,298 pixels by 4,000, so basically 4,000 by 4,000, something like that. 750 pixels per inch versus 1250. Now it's been blown up. It originally was much smaller, and so those pixels are probably a lot less. And you can see obviously the quality is leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah, because probably the picture is originally this big, and then you blow it up, and so the quality of the overall final product's not going to be as good. But we're gonna try it. We got commissioned to do this. So I've been working on this chair. It's just, again, everything's not popping the way it would with a better quality photo. So what I want to look for, I'll look for this table. I think I've done this table before. What I kind of do is go online and kind of look, see if you can find different tables. Yeah, no. And sometimes you can get lucky and you can find like the actual table that Matthew Brady used in his studio or whatever it is. Fortunately, I'm not seeing anything coming up online right now with a quick search. So I'm going to start messing with this and see what we can get out of it. Chair. I have some various colors. I think we'll... Kind of strange is I did this chair with this color and it kind of comes out. Try this table with this color and maybe we'll lighten it up. A little bit too burgundy, I think. just because there's no real contrast back here between various items, it gets very difficult to do a very good job of getting the details, because the details are just kind of gone. So you start putting the color in, and it just kind of makes it look fake and bad. So what I'll probably do is I'll kind of fade out the colors in some of these areas, just because of they won't be. If this was a color photo and it kind of everything was kind of all the colors getting lost in here, it'd be a similar effect. Probably do that. People probably put there. Probably one of the harder pictures I've had to try to color, because it's just such a low resolution. And typically when I get commissions, it's for photos like this, where they're very low quality. They're usually a scan from an old photo that's laying around and that the person found, that they have in their house, or it's you know, they found a low resolution photo on the internet that they really like, and they're like, okay, color this one. And what I'll typically try to do is I'll try to find a higher resolution scan of that same photo. Fortunately, I wasn't able to find anything better for this one, or at least with the same generals. I think I found one where it had Sheridan. So we have General Phil Sheridan, who's a major general, head of the cavalry for the Union, 1864 through 1865, the end of the war. Out east, under Grant, and he wasn't under Meade and the Army of the Potomac, but he was his own force. And I think this is Wesley Merritt, Major General Wesley Merritt, one of his division commanders. George Crook, this is also George Crook, I think from a little bit later in the war, or perhaps earlier. Kind of hard to tell if this is before or after. Definitely has more beard going on there. I'm not sure who this is. And then this is obviously General Custer, we all pretty famous, Little Bighorn, which will be much later, about, what, 10, 11 years in the future from this point. I think at this point he's still in his maybe his late 20s, but a Major General of the Cavalry. I think I found another photo, higher quality, higher resolution, but I think this Brigadier General here was not in there. So I think, so here's your 3 division. I think these guys are the 3 division commanders, and then this is probably one of the Brigadier Generals underneath, or assistant, and maybe the aide-de-camp for Sheridan himself. Yeah, so here you're just kind of guessing where the colors go. There's no detail. And when there's no detail, that's when it's the hardest. It's actually kind of when it's the almost not fun to color. It just becomes a chore just trying to fill it in, trying to make it not look terrible. Not a lot here. Probably what I'll throw in is going to be a lot of blue down here. Just so much shadow. Nothing. Go back down to uniforms, uniform colors, and it's gonna be right where everything's just going to be kind of rough down in this area, and we'll clean it up later. leg. The chair leg right there, so we'll give that a little color. It's almost impossible to tell where something begins or ends over here. Blue. Just all shadow. It's the most shadow I've ever seen in a picture where it's just there's nothing. No. Absolutely no, no data. Alright. I'm gonna go Sheridan here. I already did Sheridan out. See, I mean, that's how. It doesn't even look like I've colored him down there, right? I gave him such like a dark blue, it doesn't really pop as much. Let's go back to some chair colors. We'll do a I can duplicate this. No. Metal for these. And we'll go with the same green that we did with that other chair that Merritt is sitting on. Kind of a greenish black. Here, actually, there it looks like. You like sitting on the armrest? Yeah, and it's just these weird. It's kind of like cradled over that armrest or something. It's a weird armrest. Broken or. Again, it's so hard to tell what's going on. And another problem is I haven't colored in so long, and so I don't recognize these chairs as easily. Because if you color enough of these pictures from the exact same studio, you start to recognize very well the chairs, and then you kind of have a style you've been using for the chair, or you have a picture that you're going off of that exact chair. I think I found these chairs and kind of a greenish black. I like to go with a greenish kind of tint to it. And now that I'm looking at this, these are probably just green themselves. Probably just kind of like the leather. But I like to put like a little bit of gold, a little metal color. And so basically that's what I do until I see something completely different that says otherwise. I'll kind of just set a style, like this is what this chair looks like. This is whenever I see this chair, I'm going to color it like that. And there's consistency then. Yeah, there is a little bit of creative license to kind of fill in the gaps where you don't have an exact reference. But as much as possible, try to find the references to the real stuff so that you can match the colors. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's amazing how it's like these colors are all kind of different, but they all kind of show up looking the same. Yeah, what is going on here? What is that? Where is that? What is that? Is that part of a chair? Is that a... You know, there's just something there, and you can't tell what it is. And so you're kind of confused. What do I color that as? Now, yes, I know I'm using the floor color for this chair. Or a floor color. Yeah, impossible to see what's going on. Maybe that's his foot? No. Unless it's standing kind of weird. We get back to uniforms. Again, it's kind of rough. This is just going to be a rough one. Unless you're really looking very, 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 very close. Already that table kind of looks nice. Kind of sticks out a little bit from the shadow. I wish there was a little bit more information here because it does kind of look a little odd. What I'm going to do is this guy. He's wearing... I kind of use this color blue. And we didn't get his boot earlier. Give a little color. This has to be something subtle. You don't need to get too detailed, especially on like a low quality image as this. Just get some color, because if you don't put color, it sticks out that you didn't color it. You can see the floor doesn't look like we colored it, even though there's not a... I don't know what color we're going to color it. I'm going to give this just the... whatever that is. I have no idea what that is. I'm going to throw some color on it. I think we're pretty much got our generals all colored, their uniforms, for the most part. I'm now going to kind of tackle this floor. Now, I think I did one with Custer with a similar floor like this. I'm going to try to open here. No. I used to color this floor actually a different color. I also have some images. I'm gonna open up a big colorized past folder here. Here's my folder, all my different colorings. Some of them, my god, it's a mess. But it's always good to have reference photos. So here's that chair I was talking about. This isn't the exact chair, so that's why I'm not going with that. But I have seen this chair in some pictures, so now we have that as a reference, which is a nice thing to have. Again, getting to some of the different accoutrements, the hardy hats, that kind of stuff. Even Even picking up other people who have done colorizations, kind of just seeing like what they've done, what colors they've used. If you're not sure, getting inspiration. I mean, there are some out there that look just amazing. This is my grandpa, and again, this is a scan from a picture you can see, so it's not going to be as high quality. But I'm going to have to do that at some point. I think that'd be nice to get out for Veterans Day. Let's see, what did I want? I wanted to see if I had... Weird. Oh, weird pictures. Weird pictures we can color. We'll get back to those ones. I know I have a section here. This is how organized this is. Where I have some other, I think it's just others. For others. These are from other, some other people who have colored various. I feel like this is almost AI. It just kind of looks like it's this floor. I think I basically copied this style from. I have a few photos where I've had this floor and I basically copied this exact style. Just go, okay, well, bad. Here we have another chair. This actually might be that black chair that we saw earlier. Right over here. That actually could be that same chair. But they gave it a red upholstery. This has got black. It might have had red upholstery at one point. You can see how it's just different interpretations of things. I forgot to switch my thing. Sorry, I've been talking about stuff then. So here, let's go. Let's sit back. What I was talking about. These are from some other creators. This is possibly the chair we're dealing with right now. You can see how it's got that kind of lightest green. I've gone a little more dark green. This isn't the floor we're dealing with, though. I colored other ones that have that floor. And that's that chair I was looking at with Matthew Brady earlier. But it had, the picture had black upholstery. Here's Grant. Good one of Grant. He's a 4-star general at the end of the war. Now I'm wondering if it's this floor. It might be that floor. Look at that. No, see, it's kind of just got this. Yeah, I've seen someone else do this picture, or not this picture, but a picture with this kind of floor. Is this mine? I have one that looks, it's just so eerily similar. Because when you kind of use the same colors. So here, I'll find mine here of Grant. That actually looks almost nearly identical. Grant, where are you? Alright, so there's my Grant. There's the other Grant. Which one do you think is better? Like, kind of hard to tell. I gave him. I look at a little bit more strawberry in the hair. It looks like. I don't know. I really like mine more, to be honest. I'm not being. It's a little bit older way of doing it, so I didn't get as dark a blue. But he actually got the cuffs there. I don't think he has cuffs right there though. Cuffs more right there. It's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, two people doing the same photo and how it could be slightly different. I think he actually put a little bit darker. I just kind of put blue everywhere. Oh yeah, anyway. I'm not seeing what I was looking for. What am I going to do with this floor? I'm just going to kind of go like this. Give it a red. And then we're going to go over it with the blue. It's just going to be this kind of mix. And I don't really worry about coming over here too much because I'm going to cut this out. We don't need to cover everything. Now, I bet you there's a way to actually make it that it doesn't bleed over. Yeah, I haven't figured it out, or I haven't gone through the trouble of setting it up. I just have to clean it up after the fact a little bit. But a little color bleed isn't a big deal because in real life, color, if you look at a photo, zoom in on it, you're going to have bleed over. Now, you don't want too much unless there's a reflection. And obviously, these boots could reflect a little bit of that color on there. Actually, let's kind of go like... I mean, compared to that red, it doesn't even look like that chair is there. Look how different that is. Do is kind of just color in and then go back with the eraser on those parts where you don't want it. Because then, if you kind of try to go up, you're going to keep ending a little too soon, and then it just doesn't look like it's actually going behind the other object. Kind of let that bleed a little bit, and then just go in here, clean that up. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. We're just going to get it covered at least. Then we'll... Did I color this chair? No. Oh, it's because depending on the size brush is going to be how covered you have an area. Yeah, you can already see this doesn't look good there, but kind of mess around with it once we have the floor kind of done. Color in here. What's really cool is that if I hate this, I can just delete it. Just go boom and clean it all out, or just use a big eraser. I won't erase anything else, it'll just erase the red. Let me get some color in here. I'm going to go over with like a blue as well, and we're just going to kind of splotch the blue around. Going to kind of get this weird illusion. This is a weird looking floor. Here. Some color in here. Get a little color in there, and then I'm going to kind of boom like that. So now it looks like there's a little bit going on. Not sure what it is. And then again, we're going to go with this. I'm going to go nice and big. Go. See that? See how we're just getting kind of... Kind of got like some kind of texture going here a little bit. I mean, this is just a quick way to kind of give it something. Get around those boots. Don't forget around the boots too much. That's interesting. You can also throw in this kind of color. See what that does. So it's going to kind of brighten it up a little bit. It's going to give you just these kind of bright splotches. And since the pattern is so blurry, the colors can kind of get blurry too. And again, no one's really paying attention down there, so when you're looking, you're not really drawn to that floor, even though that floor is just garish. And what we could always do is we can always change this color. Something else. Let's see. Maybe change it to a... Now you really want to go something very subtle when you do that. Like even that works pretty good. We can also just kind of take away the opacity. I do want to have a little... Let's get, I think if we just layer the whole thing, a lot of this yellow, more opacity. And then I'm going to also play around with a bit of that blue. Get a little bit of blue on the boots. Because the walls are blue and the light's going to bounce off of that and it's going to kind of get on these shiny parts. A little bit of blue. So we usually get some more of this on their faces. Also want to turn down the opacity on their skin. The color there. We need some color on this paper. You always need to have color on things because if you don't, you can tell it's not been colored. So the top of this table hasn't finished yet. What I usually do is I just use this shirt collar color for my paper as well. It's very subtle. Can't really tell, but it just makes it look like there's light shining on it. Paper isn't always a perfect white. Even back then, the paper might have had more of a tint. We don't know. There you go. You can't even tell for sure. Now, you can add some more color on top of that if you want to make it much more noticeable. I go there. I'm going to come back where I give a little more color to the top of the table. It's going to be something like, I think we're doing this red. That on there. The whole table is kind of mahogany, whatever. I wish there was a little bit of contrast here. Like, this just kind of blends and blah. I'm gonna throw just, again, a little bit more of that red in there. Just a little bit of color. Kind of just mix in there. You just kind of want, if you're gonna have this blah, you need to kind of just mix the mess in there. Get it? What's going on in there, right? Throw a little blue into there. Alright, what do you guys think? Basic, I think it looks pretty decent. Obviously, I'm not loving The colors, the skin is not working perfectly as I'd like, but kind of the quality. It's such a flat photo. It just the features aren't really sharp, and so the skin kind of. I'll just have to admit I'm not a super expert. I want to give this a little bit of color, a little bit of red on there, light on it. Well, a little bit of red because it's probably reflecting. I'm actually going to use this color. I think this will kind of bring out whatever that. Don't, like, when you're coloring, don't be afraid to kind of add various colors, because while something might look like it's one color, it's actually lots of colors go into it. Kind of play around. I mean, you know, most people, when they're looking at this photo, they're going to see, whoa, wow, that's color, you know, compared to what it was originally. Right? I mean, this is the original photo. This is what we started with. And so it's very washed out. You know, not a lot of contrast in here. In fact, there might be a little bit more contrast right there, and then when I get in here, lose it. I'm seeing something I want to do. I kind of want to take away color all on. What I'm gonna do What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of take away a little bit of the opacity on it. Whoops, we want the eraser. We're gonna do that because it's just such a blur. I don't want it so sharp. So we just kind of want it to blend in back. See that? See how it's blending in now? Kind of blending into that background. Kind of do that everywhere. Kind of get a. Now it's not so sharp going into Sheridan. Sharp going into Sheridan. Alright, there. Just kind of blur it out because everything's kind of faded right there, so you don't want the harsh colors. Alright, so now we've basically got everything. This is the only part that looks a little weak, and again, this is because the very washed out part of the paper right there, right? We're almost drawing in that. And what I can do actually is I can kind of edit, I can actually paint on this, kind of create the leg a little bit more, get it in there a little bit more. This kind of falls under photo restoration more than actual coloring, but if we can get this to be still a little too dark. That's almost too sharp. I'm gonna see how this works. We'll see. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of erase it. Oh, erasing. But I painted right on there. That's not what I should have done. Oh. That isn't really working. I want to. What I should do is I should create a new layer and then color it. That way, kind of erase things. Pull. like that. And then I'll just kind of go opacity. That. So you see how that's got a little bit more going on. Now I kind of want to blend this away a little bit. It's still kind of you still kind of have to have the fade. Still kind of struggling. That's sometimes a struggle. I think what I'll do, kind of just give this whole area just a little bit of color. That doesn't really help. Could do, maybe I can cut out that. There's little things you could probably do. This is such a like restoration point almost. You're trying to restore the photo more than just color it. Let's color this a little bit. Look at that floor color. Sticks out. I can't really get that to work. Maybe if I put another layer of brown on it, it could help. I'm gonna not to duplicate this. How do I? Duplicate layer. Bleh. Yeah, it's just you're trying to fix something you can't really do. I'm just gonna leave it there. If I mess with it anymore, it's just gonna look worse and worse and drawing attention to it. That's about as good as it's gonna get. So yeah, there you go. A quick and dirty kind of floor. Actually, I'm gonna throw a little bit more color back there. Very light. Throw it kind of around this leg. Alright. Now, I could get into this and kind of mess around with... I think I already did it, but... mess around a little bit more with our brightness and contrast. Turn this up. This is where I think it was like kind of originally right there. Pull it down. See, the brighter you go, I think with having more contrast, it just... If you don't have a really good quality photo, trying to make it look like a photo from today is harder. So what I do if I get a photo like this is I'll kind of make it look like, okay, it was a color photo, but it's still an old color photo. It's kind of faded, or it's kind of a little rough. Kind of do that. See, where if you try too hard to get to make it look like it's a photo from today, like it was just taken yesterday, you're gonna actually end up making it look worse. And so I'm gonna just kind of go like right here and just get the general idea, like, hey, here's some color. It pops. In fact, what we could do is we could even desaturate things a little bit. That would help. I'll do this. Brighten that out. Add in a even saturation level also. No, effect ain't doing that wrong. I can't remember how I do that. Oh, it's an adjustment layer. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want to go adjustment layer. View. Duration. Not. How do I do that? I'm gonna have to look that up. It's been so long. Alright, never mind. I think actually we could put it over the whole thing. Up here. Do it. Yeah, there you go. So again, we can make it black and white. So you can kind of really want to just kind of fade it out. I've seen some colorizations where they're very faded like that. Obviously, the more vibrant you get, it's a little posterized. Where we are, I mean, you can see it's already kind of faded as it is paired. Pump that up a little bit. Actually, it's not too bad. We're gonna go with that. I'm gonna call it good. I'm gonna just get rid of this layer since I'm not using it. One more save, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out and save it and send it to my client, see what he thinks. I think it looks pretty good. Again, remember where we came from. This is what we originally had. You can see, like, I just kind of darkened that area. I didn't really fill it in. I think the color, almost what I got to do with the color. Let's kind of work with that. Kind of need to make that wood. We want the color there on the wood, but also just kind of blur it. Throw this on. There's such a contrast between the floor. So what I want to do is kind of just get that floor color in there. Well, go like that. Get it in there. Work work it in, and then I'm also gonna kind of blur away some of the opacity for that light. That actually looks better because it's kind of blurring away. We're not going to try to replace the blue. There we go. Yeah, see, that works. It kind of blurs away. That's just how the photo is. Probably your color, I mean, that's how it is. It's kind of faded. Alright, so one more save. And that actually took an hour. I wasn't planning on taking a whole hour, but we'll do another stream like this and we'll have a new photo. I'm not sure what we'll do next. Kind of look at that before we end the stream. Alright, so now I'm going to crop this. Actually, we can do a ratio. I've been doing 2x3. Yeah, it's a little too small because we're going to cut. Seven. Where? I think 4x5. Or we just do it clear to our own ratio. Alright, looks pretty good. Over here, export as PNG. Wrong folder. I need to really kind of change what I'm going to do. Already open. Come on. Custer, Sheridan. Put a date on this when I finished it. 22/09/22. Sheridan Custer Merit. That share. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we'll keep it the big one, all the way big. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Typically, yeah. Then I'll just resize that PNG. Put a logo on it, the label on it, send it out for everyone to see. But first of all, I'm going to have to send this to my client and see what he thinks of it, and hopefully he likes it. Please. Well, here's a better, I mean, just this is a better representation. Like, look how much more detail there's with this photo in comparison to this one, right? Goodbye, Custer. This open for now. Let's see what else I have. I think I have. Hey, Bulldog Blitz. Oh, did you miss it? Oh, good. Hey, Tyler T. You guys just came in towards the end of this. I'll keep going a little bit here, and we'll see when once my wife starts stirring, wants to make dinner, then we'll call it quits. That's the nice thing about doing this is I can kind of just do it as long as I want. Okay, I think what I want to do. Old photo of Franklin Pierce. Well, that's kind of fun to do. I want to do like this, a really good one. Do I have sickles? Do I have Dan's? do. Awesome. What do we got? I got this one with sickles, which is not the best. Yeah, both of these are kind of ugh. I feel like there should be a better one of them. I got some of these guys, like, who are these generals? Oh, let's give it a try. John Tyler would actually be a good one too. I think I got this off of Wikipedia. You can see the person did a lot of cleaning up of the photo. I kind of want to do Sickles. Let's do Sickles. We can talk about Sickles. He's a interesting character. Here's Daniel Sickles. Actually, I'm gonna just double check. Alright, I don't want to go Daniel Sickles. Library of Congress. Might be able to get a better resource. Oh, there's your stereograph. We used to have a link to Library of Congress. It wasn't this one. It was kind of like a secret back door in to get better images. Well, let's see if we can get. Actually, this is it right here. All right. Sickles. Laura Sickles. Give away the story. There's Sickles. Missing his leg. You can actually visit his leg. I believe it's in the Smithsonian. It is amazing sometimes you can't find. I think this is the one I already got. We'll go with this one. We'll do this one first just because. Look at it. Yeah, Sickles is definitely an interesting dude. I actually read a whole book. Wow, what's the book? Was it American Caesar? No, I think American Caesar is about. Look. This is kind of. I'm gonna just be kind of bouncing all over. Daniel Sickles book. What's the... Not this one. Sickles the Incredible. I think it was American Scoundrel? This one? Actually, yeah, I think it was American Scoundrel. Sounds familiar. I think that's the book I read. Probably have like a listing of books. American Scoundrel. That's Politics and Murder. No, I didn't read that one. Sickles the Incredible. I didn't read that. So it must have been. Yeah, it must have been Sickles. American Scoundrel. Because I was thinking American Caesar, but I think American Caesar is a book about MacArthur, I'm guessing. The reason this one kind of this is not going to show up so great is because you got this thing that's kind of separating us. It feels like there's something in between us and picture. This is slightly better because it feels like there really isn't anything. I mean, you got the Obviously with the scratches, but the scratches sometimes lend a little bit to it, even in color. Do this. Open Photoshop. And I've also got a photo, or not photo. I just have a file here. Template or this folder is so disorganized. Yeah, MacArthur's the American Caesar. Yeah, and then yeah. You know what I'm saying. Alright, so here's kind of just a... What I need to do is I need to save this with all the color gone. I just found it easier to keep a file with all my colors kind of saved. I don't have to keep repopulating it every time I go in. Now I will go in when I'm doing a coloring, I will kind of switch colors out. I'll go, you know what, this color is going to look better. Oh, maybe this skin tone. Going through making sure there's nothing on here. Shouldn't be much. Gloves. Gloves, more color, shirt collar. Kind of need to put these in sections too, to make it a little easier. Alright, we're not doing Custer. You can leave the original or you can crop it right away. I'll just crop it because this is kind of unusable down here. Picture this. So sometimes I'll leave the original and then I'll crop it later. I'll just have the colors. Sometimes I'll crop like this. Do this. What do we got? We still have 750 parts or pixels per inch. Almost 6,000 pixels by 7,500 pixels right now. You see how close we can get in. Still have some detail. See the shield on the button. Where are my buttons? Nope. Buttons. I know I had buttons somewhere. Can't find them though. Another thing I do is I'll duplicate this layer and make this a work layer. All this original. Spelling doesn't really matter, but I'll drive myself nuts. So I do this work one because then on here, what I could do is I can clean these up, and I'll kind of show you what I do with this. Just use this kind of little it just cleans it up. Now, if you're not careful, it won't look very good. If you just are very, especially if you do very small areas, you can make it look really good, actually. Get rid of those big spots. So, usually what I'll do is I'll clean up a photo like this, and I'll also have the original. That way I can kind of go back and forth, decide at the end, you know what, I just want to go on the original scan. Kind of has that old feel to it. Of course, the original photo hopefully didn't have this much speck and dust and imperfections on it. But we're so used to seeing these gray and white, or these black and white photos with the specks and the dust and everything, that sometimes when you color them and take them away, it's sometimes cool to see it with the specks and dust and go, oh, look, I just added color in. Really. Pretty powerful. I don't have to get every single spec. You want to be careful not to go over these, because what you can do is you see you kind of get that little messes up the shadow. That's good. Nice and small, not very noticeable. Now when you zoom very close in, kind of see thing, and you can actually, I think if we turn down the hardness, it would actually help. Won't make that as sharp of a path. Now I'm gonna have to give it a try. I think I can probably stream these, and I can also record them and then do a, post a YouTube video later, just doing this all super high speed, which would be pretty interesting. Seeing the, watching the background just freak out, because you've got the little bubbles bouncing around back there. Nice big scratches right there. Do the hard ones. Get rid of them. So it already looks a lot better. Right here's a big problem one. I'm gonna be very careful. Don't mess up. Same with on the. The smaller you make it, the less damage it does to the surrounding area, and it just gets rid of that imperfection, but doesn't mess up the underlying information that we really want, which is, in this example, we want to see his chin, the stubble, the hairs, all that. Here doesn't matter as much. Get rid of these pretty easily, or keep them if you want to sort of have that old school feel. I think I had Edwin Stanton. His plate was actually cracked right across his face, so it took a little bit of effort to restore that, to cover up, get his glasses to look right, because it cut right through his eyes almost. But if you can do it decent enough, people will not notice unless they're really looking. Oh yeah, someone restored that. Didn't do a great job of it. Because if you do a very good job of it, the only way you're going to know that it's been restored is if someone kind of compares it. Right here, kind of really want to get. We're losing his wrinkles. We want to get that. Too bad. Especially since you're going to be looking at about this size, you're not going to be looking at right here. So you did kind of lose some information on his tired sags there. His eye sags. What do you call those? If you're not careful, you could just spend hours doing this. And there are some that need it. I think I'm still working on one. I think I did just the restoration. I'm just starting to color it, and it was pretty rough. Pull it up. Let's see if I can find it. Just to give you an example of one. I have no idea who it is. Probably. We're gonna find him. We're gonna find it. Like, I can picture it, but I can't remember. This is why I gotta kind of just... I can't believe I haven't found it yet. Bet you it's like the Battle of Bull Run, where I've got a ton of officers in there. Two guys, they have the same name. When I see them, or they have the same last name, they're not related. Where are you guys? Where did you guys go? Where did you go? Huh? Oh, it's right here. It's the grams. There they are. This one right here. Let's open that. Just give you a look. Pretty crazy. Oh, I think I finished this one actually. Okay, so there's... Let's do what I did before. All into a group. Okay, so what I can do is I can do this. Boom. That's what it originally looked like. We'll take off the colors. That's what it originally looked like. A lot of damage. Not actually... Well, yeah, you can look right there. A lot of damage on the face. And then clean that all up. The difference is we could easily just have it like this, and that'd be totally cool. People would like that. But there's also the option, boom, there you go, all cleaned up. It looks... sometimes it can actually end up looking like a painting in some ways. Also, it gave myself a lot more... What I kind of did is just blended out the background so I have more room and can make it, have more photo to work with when I'm cropping. Yeah, here, there's still a few imperfections. I didn't get all of them, but for the most part, considering how much damage there was. So right here, we cut all the way through. It's amazing what Photoshop can do. It really is. And I would not consider myself an expert in any way, but yeah, it's crazy. So let's go over here. Let's basically, I just want to get... I'm just going to work on him here, and then we'll start getting coloring, and we can always clean up the background a little bit more later. What are these white specks? Again, you could spend forever just getting every little speck. I try not to. Sometimes you just get in kind of a groove where you just want to take everything out. Alright, that's going to look pretty good. I mean, again, we're going to be at probably this is going to be the final product. We're not going to see a lot. I'm going to turn these on. Usually I tint it. You can see I add like some tint. I think I used to just add the brown, but I started adding blue and it kind of makes everything a little bit more rich with the red. But I'm going to go like this to start, and then we'll kind of add those in and see what that does later on. So we'll do a quick... I like to start with the uniform because it just gets something done. Pick a uniform color. I think we'll do uniform... This is the one I like. You can always just pull the colors from each other. 2% opacity. Again, you can have some bleed over. Dark. Where's the Lawrence Grant? These look better. Uniform 2. I used to have just one color I would always use, but I found that it's nice to have a little variation and actually can use multiple colors on the uniform, because again, just because the clothing is one piece of color does not mean it shows up as that same color everywhere. You kind of want to add that light color variation in the shadows. I'm going to go around the buttons. Again, having a little bit of bleed over into the buttons is going to help, because if you have too sharp of a area between the two, you see they're kind of bleeding over. If it's too sharp, it clearly looks like it's been colored, because real photos, you're going to have a bleed. Zoom in on any real life photo, and it's a gradual transition between one color and another. It's not exactly sharp. Graphics, yes, they'll be sharp until you pixelate them and put them in raster. But if you're in the vector, but otherwise, you know, your photos, they're all going to have that kind of blur. Because how it goes. We are coloring Dan Sickles, Major right here. It's the Major General Daniel Sickles of the Union Army. I'm not sure. I'm guessing. I'm going to guess this picture. I don't know. I'm going to guess this picture was taken before the Battle of Gettysburg. Could have been taken after, though. Because at the Battle of Gettysburg, on the second day of fighting, we all know about the famous stand of the 20th Maine on Little Round Top. Well, just south, or I think actually it would be west. Get my chord, how the battle's arranged. The west of Little Round Top, a little northwest of Little Round Top, Sickles' 3rd Corps was stationed. And it was stationed along Cemetery Ridge. And in front of him was I believe it was a peach orchard. It was a peach orchard. And Sickles felt that that was a better spot to have. There was no one actually there, and he's like, hey, I could move up, gain some ground. But it was indefensible because now he's out of line. His whole corps is in front of the rest of the Union line, which is this nice fish hook, and is very defensible. Interior lines, you can move troops very easily to any part of the line really quickly, and they're very nice. And because he moved up, he basically got swamped as Longstreet's, and specifically Hood's men on their attack on the right, their right, the left flank of the Union line, kind of just swept up the 3rd Corps. Sickles lost his right leg during the fighting, And because his corps was out of position, that kind of collapsed the line a little bit for the Union, and the 5th Corps had to rush troops onto Little Round Top to defend that. You have the Devil's Den and that whole area. So, yeah, Sickles kind of screwed up there and paid for it. Paid for it with the lives of a lot of his men, but also with his own leg. I believe he did do some. He remained in service. I don't think he was actively had a field command after that. He probably spent more desk duty, more maybe recruiting. Back, I believe, in New York City, probably. Now, I just give this a blue. Some people will just color this black. I mean, it's already dark enough that the blue is not really going to show up, except for like a tint. And I always feel like these are just darker blue sections. The officers had tailored onto their frock coats. We can just subtly see that blue kind of peeking out. Again, bleed it over into that shirt. Not a big deal. You see that fuzz that's coming from the picture. Get that blue in there. That blue's gonna be fuzzing out. We're coloring Dan Sickles. I'm gonna change the brightness and everything as well. That'll make him look a little bit better. Kind of washed out right now. Actually, get a bigger brush. So the uniform is typically the easiest thing to do. But on a portrait like this, especially when I was first started and I was just knocking out pictures left and right, I could do one of these in probably an hour or less. And just boom, boom, boom. I'm kind of a little bit more critical, and I'm a little slothful now when I do my coloring. But I think if I stick to this and I don't get interrupted, we're already half an hour beyond what I was planning. We could probably get this done by 7. But I'll probably have to step away, so we'll come back to this next screen. If I don't get it done, finish it out. But compared to the last picture we just did, compared to these guys, I mean, this took me a few months. I wasn't working on it constantly for a few months. It was basically just me being lazy. Or being obsessed with Microsoft Flight Simulator. More the thing, and streaming all the time when I had my time off. Kind of see that kind of fuzz coming off, that blur. Well, that's the color blurring, the black and white color blurring with the background. Well, your color is going to be blurring also, blue. So you have a little blue coming off, that little bleed, no problem. And if it looks a little too much, you can always go back and adjust that. I also use this here on the straps because generals, their straps are basically the same blue as their uniform. Anyone on the general staff, their straps are a dark blue. Infantry, if you're just an infantry like colonel, or I believe even colonels have a dark blue, but you know, if you're an infantry captain, you'd have a light blue. Cavalry captain would have a yellow. Artillery would be red. And I'll give you an example of that. Then I can see every picture I've done, and then look. Oh, where is it? Completed. Sweet. Are they? This one. So obviously I don't have I'm not looking at the original, but you can see these guys. Now here we have a captain, but he's got the red straps because he's artillery. I don't know what that guy is. Might be Doesn't have anything. Maybe a corporal, lieutenant, another captain here. And they're all artillery. That's why they're wearing. They got the lighter blue pants. They probably have a. Maybe I should have a striker. I don't know, but that should be a red stripe, maybe, possibly. But they do have the straps are red. This one I might have. These are all. So this is all general staff. So you got a major general here, you got colonel, lieutenant colonel, captain, but they're all on his staff, and so they all have the blue strap and dark blue pants because they're all part of a general staff. These guys are Navy, so they're different. They're Navy, they're different. I think I was mentioned before the floor. I copied from someone else. Not sure if he was actually wearing red pants, but he is a Zoav commander, so I gave him the red pants. I think my favorite one, this was, I mean, look at, basically this is the order of, I think I had, what is it? That's probably 16, 17, 18 photos under my belt, and then I tackled this one, which is probably, I mean, look, I mean, this is, you know, doing the trees and, you know, the tents back here. There's actually other troops standing back here too you had to color. And this one took me probably a month, you know, working on it about an hour or two every day. You know, and every single soldier I kind of have a little bit different skin, how much, you know, this guy made a little darker, different color beards, different hair colors, eye color even. And I still look back at this, I'm amazed at how good it looks, you know, just in the infancy of my technique. You know, especially this, getting all this to look really nice. But everything. I probably could give a little bit more saturation to the ground, but I think my purpose with the ground was it's probably a very worn out anyway. Probably just mostly dirt. So I kind of just went like a little green. It was really definitely, I was like, hey, let's try that, and I went for it. I'm gonna get a little. The one woman I think this is the one woman I've colored, Ava Gardner. I think this was for there's a Reddit group where every week there's, you know, do a color. And again, like getting that subtle color there of the reflection. I mean, that was something when I was doing this. I'm like, you know, this is a metal slide. You're gonna want that kind of a little color. So I just threw that color on there. It just, again, turned out so great. You know, just kind of foraying into something, learning different things and thinking about that when you're doing it. There's even you can kind of see like a little bit of change in my color scheme. So here you go. These are a bit later. They're actually from a couple of years ago now. You know, and then when I got to Hooker here, I kind of put a little bit more red. Kind of put that blue overlay, and it kind of just gives it, see that difference? So I went back and, I mean, I did Chamberlain really early on. So I went back and just kind of, like, what does it look like different if I put that little bluish background on it? There's the other Graham. And there's Custer. And he's the last one I did, and I did Armstrong, or Custer. The last one I did before, we just finished the one just earlier. I finished this on November 15th of last year, so it's been a while since I really kind of knocked out some pictures. Alright, so let's get back into here. I think make sure we've got it all. Yeah, I want to make sure it's all connected, otherwise when we fill, There we go. That blue's gonna kind of change colors. This is what I used to do. I used to not have that blue. Sometimes what I would do is kind of double up. Let's keep it like this, and we'll work from the raw color and then kind of change things as further along. Uniform. The reason I don't, I sometimes use full hardness, but at the same time I don't like to use it because they'll kind of get in, there'll be this hard edge. Right there, you kind of get that hard edge now. There we go. That makes it take a little longer though. Feels like it's taking longer than usual. But I want to keep that. I don't want to have a hard edge right there. You want to just have a kind of a fuzz, which is exactly what's happening in the picture. Like just a little fuzz, not perfectly crisp. Moving slower through it. See that? That's what I'm kind of trying to avoid. That's why I don't like to use the hard as much. Find going slow going like this. I wonder if Photoshop changed the brush. It seems to be acting differently than I'm used to. Filling as fast as I usually do it. Maybe I do it with a bigger brush like this. I get a little bit more of that bleed. It's a very light kind of bleed. See that? Kind of bleeding over, but especially with the way I color the buttons, bleed kind of gets washed out by the power of the gold color. What we'll do next, we'll get those buttons. Get his whole uniform done, and then maybe we'll start working, or we'll leave the head for next time. Getting a little late. Probably need to get downstairs, make some spaghetti or something for dinner, and then start getting ready for bed. work on my YouTube video that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to make a video about the royal family logoing. Okay, so it kind of looks a little washed out. Remember, we can always change the brightness here. Very bright. Almost washed out. See that? Keep it there for now. There we go. Alright, we go right here, buttons and straps, and start coloring these in. This really looks cool once you pop all these on. I'll sometimes go over with a slightly different color just to give it some interesting looks. The key right now is just to get the color on. These colors work, and then it's kind of just playing with the brightness, the contrast, general overlay over the whole thing. Get it, get that right atmospheric color on it, so that everything kind of pops. Right now, it's not always gonna. Sometimes it'll look okay, but I think that next level, you just need to kind of tweak some of the other stuff, and then you get there. Loving how all the music seems to be running through like the Asian. Doesn't exactly fit the music. That'd be a cool one to do some old Japanese or Chinese photos too. To find some. Those will be a lot more work because I got my colors so set here, it's just kinda like it's almost robotic with these guys. The skill or the work really comes in if there's more complicated stuff going on, or getting the face right. But yeah, definitely if you get into someone's got a more complicated outfit, then you're looking for those colors and okay, what color do I use here, and how far does that color go, and can I get these colors to blend right? I'll keep my eyes out for some colors like that. gonna do this strap right here, the shoulder strap, right? Yeah, I mean, Sickles always was a name, obviously, Civil War general. If I was playing a Civil War game, one of those grand strategy games or whatever, he'd pop up as a general. Obviously, from the Battle of Gettysburg or the Old Army of the Potomac, he was always there. But then I discovered, some really interesting things, and then I read a book about him to learn a little bit more. But the fact that he shot and killed Francis Scott Key's son, Francis Scott Key being the man who wrote the Star Spangled Banner, which became was set to music and then became our national anthem. Well, his son was living in Washington D.C. and Sickles was also there because Sickles was a congressman from New York in the late 1850s, prior to the Civil War. And, well, Sickles was a little bit of I think his wife was considerably younger than him. I don't know considerably, but, 10, 15 years younger, I believe. And he was a little bit of a philanderer. He had a number of affairs himself, and so she, being quite lonely, responded in kind and ended up having an affair, carrying out an affair with Francis Scott Key's son. I forget if it might be Francis Scott Key Jr. I'm not sure. I feel like we just keep saying Francis Scott Key's son. Francis Scott Key's son. I think it's Jr. So don't get confused. He didn't shoot Francis Scott Key himself. I believe he was already dead by this point. But Sickles finds out about this, right? And Sickles the standard being very different. Here's, he's carrying on affairs with multiple women, but his wife, it's like, how dare she, right? Do the same thing with Francis Scott Key Jr. I'm going to say I don't believe it. But why don't we just look it up? So Dan Sickles here. Dan Sickles. I think it was Philip Barton Key. There it is. Philip Barton Key. So she's carrying on this affair, and then Daniel finds out. Congressman Daniel Sickles finds out that his wife is having an affair with Philip Barton Key, prominent Washington, D.C. lawyer, son of Francis Scott Key. And he basically confronts Philip Key on the street in Washington, D.C. Again, Washington, D.C. was pretty rustic at this point still. And guns him down. Pulls out a little Derringer, I think, and guns him down. He lingers for a few hours. Doctors stick their fingers in his wound. He's laid out on a table in a saloon there in Washington and ends up dying. as you typically did if you got hit in the right place, and doctors simply just stuck their fingers in your wound and didn't do much more. And so it became a huge scandal. It was already a scandal, you know, all of his affairs, but especially his wife's affair was the bigger scandal, again, times. And he was obviously brought to a trial for murder. And here you have a sitting congressman. Now, this wasn't, you know, unheard of. Literally, the Vice President, Aaron Burr, had shot the former Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, back in 1804. So it wasn't unheard of to have and Andrew Jackson, how many duels did he get in? So it wasn't unheard of. But here you have a congressman on trial. One of his lawyers, I believe his lead lawyer, was Stanton, Edwin Stanton, who would later be the Secretary of War under Lincoln during the Civil War. And Stanton used it was the first, I don't know if it was the first use, I think it was the first use of an insanity plea during a murder trial. Basically, the plea was, well, you know, he was driven insane by his wife's, you know, infidelity, and he snapped and shot Philip Barton Key. And that worked. He was found not guilty, acquitted on the basis of temporary, I think it was temporary insanity. That was the first time temporary insanity had been used. And he went free. And I believe his political career was kind of at an end at that point. But he did go on to obviously serve in the Civil War, first as with his militia unit from New York, but then rising through the volunteer ranks to Major General, even as a Corps commander in the Army of the Potomac. Eventually losing his leg at Gettysburg after making a pretty foolhardy decision with his Corps on the second day of fighting. Here we're just getting the whites. Now those stars are typically, they're silver actually. But if you paint them gray, it doesn't really do anything. So I just give them this, because they kind of show up in pictures with this white, but that's kind of like a silver. Also getting the collar. It's giving it some color because it's going to be kind of reflecting your skin on the lights of the room. What I also like to do next is I usually, then at this point, and it just kind of gives a crazy contrast, is I just go around, big brush, and we just get that background color. And I picked this nice blue color. I use this blue color for anyone on the north side of the Civil War. And I use kind of like a brownish color for anyone on the south. I figured they're getting their pictures taken in different places. Not all these pictures will be taken by Matthew Brady or in the same place. And so this blue background is probably not accurate at all, but I just use it, keeps it simple, it's nice and it works. Subtle. Put it over, I always, you know, any kind there's a little bit of hair coming out, just put it right over that. We'll give a little color to that hair, but you know, that background, that atmospheric background is going to get into your hair. See how that works right there. Now look at a photo of yourself. Zoom in and you'll see the kind of that blue, you know, if you're standing outside or you got a blue, whatever that background is going to blur into your hair. So it's better to have that blurred in. Again, you don't want that sharp color contrast. In fact, we're going to go back later and put a little bit more blue on his hair. Because that'll just shine to his hair. They're going to reflect a little bit of that, you know, whatever color the room is, whatever lights are in the room. I already have over the, I have a whole, everything's covered in blue already, but at 25% opacity. And then that just gives, again, that reflection. So it's already a little bit over everything, a light, subtle blue. But then I'm going to throw a little bit more in certain areas to highlight it. I'm just gonna get this all around. And this is, again, probably, I would say this is actually the easiest part of the coloring, is doing the background, because you just gotta rough around everywhere. Boom. Make sure it's solid. Paint can. Fill in the little gap here. Get our Eastern Asian sounding music. Go with our Civil War photo coloring. Alright, it's almost 7 o'clock, so I'm going to, once we get done with this part, we're gonna save the face for next time. We'll do the face of Daniel Sickles next time I stream, which could be tomorrow night, Saturday. It could be Saturday night, Sunday night, some point in here. Maybe I'll do it on Saturday night. I'll jump on for like an hour. I don't want to guarantee anything in the evening, just because when I come home from work, I'm a little tired after a 12-hour shift, and I have to kind of take care of the baby. If you've watched any of my streams with my flying when he's up here, especially in the new house, he doesn't like to sit in his high chair for too long. I let him out of the high chair. He does not want to play with his toys. He comes immediately, beelines over to the computer, and starts pulling on the microphone cable, the lights, anything he pull on. And I'm surprised he hasn't turned the computer off in the middle of the stream yet. So. Alright, so obviously it looks a little incomplete. You see, we're going to put a little bit more color. It's going to pop these a lot more, darken up his uniform. See, helps with the face. And this is something I can always adjust. I can always turn down the opacity on these things if it's too much. But I'm going to stop right there with Daniel Sickles. We'll hit up his face next time, and I'll show you how I do that. So thanks for stopping by. I know Bulldog was excited to see some of this. We'll do this a few more times. Well, a few more times. We'll do it whenever I'm coloring. I'll throw on the stream, and hopefully you guys are interested in coming on in and watching. See, how long was this? Yeah, almost 2 hours of coloring. We got done with our just to give an example, look at the background here. So that's when I first started coloring. This is kind of what my coloring looked like. Kind of had that little like old copper. Then I would put this brown. The blue, I think, kind of just wraps it up a little bit more. So we got done with the commission photo that I've been working on for a few months. I'm gonna have to send that. Hopefully the guy still pays me. I know he was getting close to publishing his book, and he needed to get that photo. So save this as a new. Dan Sickles in the S. Sickles. There you are, Daniel Sickles. Sickles seated. Save. I think I forgot to save my my template after I had erased everything, so I'm going to do it. I always forget to do that. You know, I have a clean template. Yep. So we got the uniform done, we got the stars, we got the straps, the buttons, his shirt, and the background. So all we got to do is knock out the face, and that shouldn't take too long. So I will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, if you haven't already, hit that follow on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Videos are going to be going up of various kinds. Colorized past videos, flight videos, history videos are going to be coming soon, I'm hoping. So thanks for stopping by, and until next time, take care.